Hey, welcome to PNW Enduro. New bike day today. I just picked up this morning. It's been about 3.5 years since I've owned a KTM. So excited to be back on the orange brand. This is the 2024 KTM 250 XCF. So I recently sold the Sherco 4-stroke and I've replaced it with a KTM. I found after riding the Husky the last several months and switching back and forth between the Sherco and the Husky, it was just really awkward riding the Sherco 4-stroke. So now I'm on a similar platform. So I'll go over some of the features. Map switch is standard, also the traction control and quick shift, which is completely new to me. I'm gonna have to get into that once I get the bike ready and actually ride it. But today I got a bunch of stuff to do to it, like throw in mousses, gummy tires, protection parts from Bulletproof Design, and a few other things. First off, I'll weigh the bike. It is full of fuel right now. The specs say this is a 9-liter tank. Specs on my Husky say 8.5, but I really don't trust anything on the KTM website because they're notorious for having a lot of mistakes. So either way, I weigh it full of fuel. Okay, full of fuel, completely stock bike, we're at 247.5. That is exactly 4 pounds lighter than the Sherco 300 SEF. So I know the first question people are going to ask, why the 250 instead of the 350, which would be a more popular choice for sure. So I'll go over some of the reasons. First off, me being a lighter rider, 150 pounds without gear and 5'7", the 250 should be plenty of power. It's actually a couple more horsepower than the Sherco 300 SEF I owned. So I'm actually upgrading in power, really. A couple more reasons for going to the 250. It's a little bit lighter and a little bit cheaper. So a few things I'm going to change. I'm going to take off this eventually and put on a TM Designs. These new chain guides are complete crap. They are aluminum on the inside, plastic on the outside. As soon as you hit something, it's going to bend. No good. New exact forks, really good forks. I think this will maybe have a little bit stiffer valving than my Husqvarna TE300 Pro, but we'll find out when I'm on the trails. This year, there's no screen in here. Apparently last year there was, so that's a little bit of a disappointment. Hour meter up front. I'm gonna kind of miss having the trip computer, to be honest, but the XC models don't come with it. And same with the headlight, which isn't a big deal, but I do like to have a headlight. Not that I ride at night, but when I'm riding on roads, I'll always put it on just for an extra safety feature, or sometimes in heavy traffic trails. Also, no fan, which I'll obviously be adding right away. So I'm doing a couple things at once here. I'm getting ready to put the handguards on, and I'm also replacing this stock start-stop button combo. I'm really not a fan of these buttons, so I switched to the Enduro Engineering old style. So you got start on here, stop on there like it used to be. I'd like to know in the comments, what do you think of this button? Do you run it or do you replace it as well? This is kind of an expensive harness, $120 about, but it does plug right in, plug and play. And I find it just works a lot better than this combo button that KTM has been using the past couple of years. I'm also replacing the stock throttle housing with this really nice looking piece from Bulletproof Designs. It's a lot stronger and it looks great. So this is the stock skid plate that comes on this bike. It's okay. There are definitely better options on the market, but you're going to be spending $150 to $200 to replace it. But I found there's a KTM part that just bolts directly on to protect your linkage for about $45. So it's a lot cheaper. You don't have to replace the whole skid plate and you get your linkage protection all in one. It's very similar to what's on the Husky over here that came on it, and that skid plate's held up okay so far, so I'm going to stick with that. I had actually purchased this skid plate from Tusk and I'm going to return it. I'm not really happy with the fitment And also the brackets that you need to use to mount this are actually quite heavy. So I'm going to get rid of the Tusk one, send it back. If you are going to get an aftermarket skid plate, I would suggest going with the SXS for just a little bit more money than this Tusk one. So I'm going to be installing the Trailtech fan kit. It is the same thing as the OEM, it's just cheaper. So to do that, I need to remove the tank, drain the coolant, and remove the right side radiator. I know these caps are a bit of a pain to take on and off. I've got this tool from Bulletproof Designs that makes it a little bit easier. So I'm going to go ahead and drain the coolant now. Okay, final weigh in with the bike filled with fuel and all the parts added is 258. So I gained 9.5 pounds. Comparing to my last few bikes, so the TE 300 Pro over there is 258.5. Half a pound heavier than the 4-stroke. Comparing to my last two Shercos, the 300 SE 2-stroke was 267, and the SEF 300 4-stroke was 264.5. So considerably lighter, this KTM 250F. Okay, the new bike is ready to ride. I want to thank Bulletproof Designs and Trailbound for helping out with this bike build. I'll just do a recap of what I've done to get this bike ready. So, stock front tire, but I've installed a Nitro Mousse Platinum. That's the regular Nitro Mousse. Bulletproof Designs rad guards. Love these things, best in the business. Tusk full wrap hand guards. I really like that the new ones are black. It just makes them look a little nicer. Replace the dual start stop with separate old style start stop buttons. Something I'm waiting for when they're available is Astra off-road handlebars. Right now it's just the stalkers. I use the Astra bar pad. Seat has been shaved down. I'm a shorter rider, so I shaved the seats down on all my new bikes. In the back, IRC VE33S with a soft or a plushy Nitro Mousse. This is going to be replaced eventually. I'm going to run this for now, but I'm going to put a TM Designs chain guide on there. Clean speed brake pedal. It just sits out a little bit more and sits back. I prefer these over the stalkers. And I think last thing would be stock skid plate, but I added the KTM Power Parts beaver tail or fin on there, just bolts on. Works pretty well. So that's what I have on the Husky as well. So, oh yeah, almost forgot the Trailtech fan, which is the same as a KTM Power Parts. That's a must as well. So I think that covers it. This is going to be really fun. It's been a long time since I owned a 254 stroke, and it's been about 3 years since I've owned a KTM. So looking forward to getting out first ride on this bike. Stay tuned.